Stative versus dynamic verbs. A brief explanation. Hi, my name is Kenan James U. Narisma of Grade 9 Poly, class number B6. By the end of this video, you will know what is a stative and dynamic verb, differentiate stative and dynamic verbs, and lastly, know how to use stative and dynamic verbs in sentences. So, let's get started. First off, let's start with stative verbs. In other references, they call this type of verb static verb. But for this video, we will stick with the name stative verb. In definition, stative means expressing state, relation, or condition. But what is a stative verb? Sometimes they are referred to as state verbs. They usually refer to a state or condition which is not changing or likely to change. They can be divided into verbs of perception, which refer to the things in mind, or verbs of relation, which describe the relationships between things. They are the verbs that can't be done physically. Some examples of stative verbs are want, know, like, love, hate, need, prefer, agree, sound, hear, wish, smell, seem, include, weigh, contain, lack. In these words, you cannot say, I am knowing the truth. I am liking pizza. It is sounding like a great idea. But you may say, I know the truth, I like pizza, and it sounds like a great idea. Example, I love the feeling of being appreciated. The verb love refers to a thing in mind and not a thing being done. Therefore, it is a stative verb. Second example, I need to rest for tomorrow's work. Here, need describes a state rather than action and is a stative verb. Next up, we have dynamic verbs. In English, the adjective dynamic means something is changing or moving. But what is a dynamic verb? Sometimes they are referred to as action verbs. A dynamic verb shows continued or progressive action on the part of the subject. They usually describe actions we can take or things that happen. These verbs are the ones that can be done physically. Some examples of dynamic verbs are act, build, complete, draw, fix, gather, help, justify, listen, lead, measure, narrate, outline, predict, record, save, treat, use, visualize, write, zoom. These verbs can be used in the simple and perfect forms like place, played, has played, had played, and as well as progressive forms like is playing, was playing, has been playing, had been playing. Examples. I introduced myself to the whole class. Here, the verb introduced describes an action that has been done and is a dynamic verb. Second example, my mom is preparing a special dish for my birthday. The verb preparing describes an action being done and is a dynamic verb. There are also some verbs that can be either stative or dynamic, depending on their meaning and context in the sentence. Examples of verbs that can be either dynamic or stative are think, mind, have, smell. I think it is wrong to hit children. Here, think is a stative verb. It means to have an opinion. But in the sentence, I'm thinking about buying a new car, here, thinking is describing a process or an action. This is something that is happening rather than simply being. It is a dynamic verb. Second example. I have 3 brothers. This talks about the family relationship the speaker has and is therefore stative. But in the sentence, I'm having a bad day today, I'll call you when things are better. Having in this sentence means the speaker is going through the process of a bad day and is therefore dynamic. All this may seem complicated, but if you keep the basic idea of dynamic verbs versus static verbs in the back of your mind, it will help you greatly. So that's the end of my explanation. Before I formally end this video, I'm going to throw a knock-knock joke. Here it is. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Jollibee KFC.
Jollibee KFC who?
Okay. If our love is Jollibee, why aren't you my KFC?